We will start this demo by creating a new project where we will wire up the dependency injection. Then we will add TinyIOC as a dependency to our project. After adding TinyIOC, we'll extract the interface from our existing classes and then refactor those classes to use the newly created interfaces. After we are done refactoring, we will wire up the dependency injection for our GlobalMatix application. Let's get started. Let's start by opening the Solution Explorer and collapsing all the open projects and folders. In our common project, let's add an interface to hide our dependency injection selection. We will call this interface iLocator, and we'll add in two methods. The first method is a generic method that will be called getInstance and return a generic type. We will enforce that the type returned must be a class. The second method will be called register. It will take a generic argument that also must be a class. This interface will be the interface our dependency injection container utilizing class must satisfy. Now, let's add a new project for our dependency injection wrapper library. We will call it globalmatix.pluralsight.mobileapp.dependency. Let's rename class 1 to locator and have the locator implement our iLocator interface. We need to add the common project as a library dependency and make the iLocator interface public so that we can reference the interface. Once implemented, let's add TinyIOC as our dependency injector. And you can find the file on the TinyIOC GitHub. In our locator class, we will add a TinyIOC container as a private property and set it by passing in 1 through the constructor. Then, in getInstance, we will call container.resolve, and in the register function, we will call the container register. Now that we have a wrapper for our dependency injection container, we can extract the interfaces from the services. After opening the customer DAL and the customer service, we can extract the interface by using the Visual Studio Quick Actions and selecting Extract Interface. This brings up a new window that will create a new file for us with an interface of the class. Once we extract the interfaces, we can move those files to the common project and delete the originals. For cleaning up, let's open up the interfaces and adjust their namespaces. Now we can change the project dependencies for the mobile app by removing the reference to the services and DAO project and adding the dependency project. Then, for the dependency project, we will add the services and DAO projects as references. Now let's head back to our dependency project and add a class named Bootstrap. The Bootstrap class will be a static class that exposes the methods for external assemblies to access the implementation of the iLocator. In short, it's the access point for all of the hidden internals around our dependencies and injection containers. Let's add a method named getContainer and have it return the TinyIOC container our locator class will take. In this method, we will create a new TinyIOC container and register both the customer DAO and the customer service with the container. Then we will add a method to retrieve the locator named getLocator. In it, we will return a new locator with the TinyIOC from the getContainer method. With all this in place, let's go to our presentation project and add a class named ViewModelLocator. This will be a static class and use our locator to create view models. Let's add a static variable named locator that is of type iLocator and set it using the Bootstrap getLocator method. Then, in the static constructor of the ViewModelLocator, we will register the AboutViewModel and add a static property named AboutViewModel. Now, let's edit our AboutViewModel to take the interfaces as dependencies. We will change the customer service to the customer service interface in both the constructor and the private property. Now let's change the About view so that it uses the ViewModelLocator for the binding context. First, let's add in the namespace for the ViewModelLocator. Then let's add the viewModelLocator.AboutViewModel as the binding context. We should be ready to run the application, so let's launch it. We can navigate to the About page and see the customer service is being injected into the About View model, and the methods still work. Let's try the Learn More button to see if it still works. Seems to. In the next section, we will discuss cross-platform services.